Revmatch Podcast, the automotive podcast, where we're gonna teach you how to shoot your bucket to the best of our ability. And what I mean by that is, you've seen on our page, we are very fortunate to have Chris Kidd as the resident photog god to just shoot our cars whenever we want. Well, before I moved, whenever we wanted, doing, tens of hundreds of dollars. I'm just kidding. We're the worst for way more than that. Pro tip:
we use it.
Good photography is expensive and it's worth every penny. There's a lot of time goes into it, but this actually kind of stemmed out of a conversation that Chris and I had about, like, I'm now 1,500 miles away, obviously, and I would still, I guess, I still got to contribute to the content when it comes to posting on the Instagram and stuff. So it's like, how do I do this with my phone? What do I do? How would I help? How do I make my cars look not stupid? And so this happened. And then Mike was like, we should get Steve on here. So ladies and gentlemen, Steven Stettler Photography.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Steven.
And I'm going to bring up your Instagram right now too, so we can show you off a little bit. But yeah, so it was just kind of a thing of like, if I got to learn how to do this, I'm sure there's a lot of other folks that would like to know how to not shoot turd photos as well. And two heads are better than one. And I'm just going to kind of transition over and give these guys a sort of idea. I don't know where my mouse is. I have too many screens. Of the kind of stuff we're gonna get there. We're introducing people. Ooh. Oh, you guys are all looking at the stream right now, so you can actually see. But like framing shots of the Mini, which props to the Mini, by the way. This is amazing.
The barbecue and the sunset.
Dude, this is a great shot with the blue and the silver. That's super clutch.
Is that before Mini closed?
So, and then a bunch of
I did.
Bunch of copyrighted material that I probably shouldn't be showing. Anyway, moving back. So, yeah, it was just a thing of like, let's do it. Let's do this thing. Call me Taz. Car Week. Which Car Week? Where? Not in Texas, I'm sure. Is that Monterey or whatever?
Oh, yeah. Car Week. That is right. That is coming up.
Yeah,
that is coming up. You guys should go.
We're gonna try
and take me in spirit. That'd be cool.
Everybody but Alex.
Everybody but Alex.
I'm like your guys' fucking spirit animal at this point. So to get this started, it's somebody's birthday. Steven's birthday. And for his birthday, he said, "You know what I wish for this birthday is to waste an hour and a half of my life with 5 assholes on the internet." And here we are. We were happy to provide.
Toss up between that and bowling, so you guys won.
Well, you're gonna put a finger in the hole one way or the other, so here we are. So in the honor of that, and in the honor of tradition, because this is a full-on tradition at this point, we're 22 or 23 episodes deep, pushing a year to do this. Are we shooting? I feel like we should be shooting.
You want to shoot?
I feel like we should shoot. It's his birthday, and we're talking about shooting, and it's just there's synergy. There's synergy. No. Did you find one?
Yeah, give me a second.
There we go. That's the attitude I like to. Also, is that a look at the got the hair? Love it. Gotta love it. Also, we didn't really discuss how we're gonna show people how to do this, so we're gonna figure this out on the fly. Although Chris does have an iPhone, so you can kind of.
I do have an iPhone.
So it's cool.
You do?
I do.
I can't use mine because mine's my camera. I'll just pull the veil back. I'm poor and I don't have a webcam, so I've been using. I guess I can't really say I'm poor. I can't really say I'm poor when I've been using a $1,200 phone as a webcam for the last year.
I mean, dude, I had no idea you could do that.
That's so rough. So rough.
Yeah, life's tough, man. Life's tough. It's hard out here for it when you're trying to get this money photo rent. Is he for
dying, kid? You all right there, buddy?
I was drowning.
What are they putting in Trulies? What are they putting in Trulies in SoCal?
That's a strong kiwi. It is truly drink.
I think Steven might be fermenting his own alcohol as we speak.
But let's at least get about what's everybody sipping on as we're going to go through this podcast.
I got a Mega Claw going.
Okay.
Or as my wife has named them, Yee Claws.
Yee Claws?
Yee Claws. So it's just, but I mixed it up. So there's a vodka brand. I don't usually do flavored liquors because I'm just I'm against it on a spiritual level. Okay. But there is a vodka brand called Deep Eddies, and they do flavored vodkas and stuff like that.
Okay.
And so this is a little bit of that, a little bit of lemon Deep Eddies with a full White Claw.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah.
Mason jar action too.
Yeah.
When in Texas.
You look disgusted. Chris is deep throating a fucking Truly right now.
I'm just thinking about Alice's drink. I'm like, that just hurts.
Just relax the throat, homie.
Right. Work the shaft. Swallow the baby.
You're all good, baby. You worked for it.
It's fucking hell.
Kids are already done. Anyway. All right, so Steven's got a shot to take.
Yep.
Happy birthday. We're gonna get rolling.
Happy birthday, my friend.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
That was Tito. Okay.
A little bullet.
Let's get to the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
Listen, Mike's drinking bourbon. Chris is drinking Trulies. Kyle's drinking a beer. Timmy's probably also drinking a beer. Nailed it. Look at me go. It's almost like I've been doing it for a while.
All the way from fucking Texas.
All the way from mine. Steven, before we get into this, Chris, can you fucking work it out? Can you fuck nothing stronger than family? Can you
except that Truly that Chris is drinking?
Yeah, no shit. Tell us a little about yourself, man. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Steven. Today's my birthday. I've been professionally shooting probably for about the last 5 years or so. I got really into photography due to cars. I saw a lot of car photography and I fell in love with it and thought what a better way. I was too young. I was about 15 when I got into it. So I couldn't really own a car at that point. But the best way to get in the culture was to shoot the culture. So I got a camera there. Kind of then went to community college, fell in love with photography some more. From there, I then moved up to Sacramento, went to Sac State and got a degree in photography. And then kind of the rest is history. After that, kind of moved around a little bit. I shot professionally for Hearst Castle over on the Central Coast.
No shit.
As far as landscape and stuff. So I did that for about 3 years. So that was fun, but a little boring. It wasn't really what I wanted to do. I'm more into product shots and things like that. So that kind of branched away from that a little bit. So now I'm down in Fresno and I work for Subaru. So a little different,
you
work
for Subaru proper.
Oh, yeah, well, as a service advisor.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not super fancy.
I mean,
we were training Steven at Porsche to be a service advisor when he left us, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, one flat engine to another. It's just fucking same shit, right?
Whatever. Same thing.
Facts.
Same but different.
Porsches are just fancy Subarus. Everybody knows that. Literally everybody knows that.
You just ignited an entire car community.
Oh, dude, no, that's great. That's cool. No, we had a couple people leave at the start of the stream. Hopefully this will bring them back. Did you guys hear what these assholes are saying over there?
Oh my god!
Yeah, Chad in your fucking 718 Cayman, looking at you, Timmy. Driving a fancy backwards WRX. That's all you're doing.
So, speaking of Steven, can we dive into that mini build?
Yeah, so that thing that started out as just a regular old. It's called an R53, so it's a 2002 Mini Cooper. From there, I want to just do some couple of casual things. I've had the car for 10 years now. Started out just with a supercharger pulley on there, intake, intercooler. That thing kind of stemmed into exhaust. Last year, I then put forged internals in it, stage 2 cam, lightweight pulleys all throughout. Last time I had a dynoed, factory is 163, and that car is at 217 right now. So
boy.
about as turned up as you can get in a Mini without scrapping everything and putting a turbo kit on it. From there.
Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. So from there, did the suspension on there. It's got a custom designed suspension. There's a company over in Nevada City who specializes in Minis, and it was on their track car. And then they put it on my car. So I have their track car suspension. It's a little worn out now. It was designed about 10 years ago, so it's kind of outdated at this point. But and then right now, the entire interior is gutted. It has no interior, no sound deadening, no carpet. Just a seat and 2 switches for a window. So that's about it now.
Is there a shot of that on here? Because I'm trying to find it. There's like, I love how your Instagram is such a mess, like mine is. Like it's just like
you got like your car stuff, and you got like all like your photography shit. And
there was like a this is
brake caliper in my fucking face.
Okay, so you have the rally lights on here with choice. I see the Ultra Performance shit. So is that an intercooler? Is that what that is?
Yeah, so that's a big top mount intercooler. There are no front mount options for the Mini, so that's the biggest multi.
So weird because you have so much space in there. I can't imagine why there's
right. You would think someone would make a kit for that, but I mean, I guess like plumbing wise might be an issue.
I was being facetious because there's no fucking room in those things whatsoever.
Go back to that.
There's not. No, dude. Have you ever pulled the front bumper off a Mini? Dude, my buddy had to change.
I don't own a fucking Mini.
My buddy had to change. My buddy had a R. Was it the R52? Was that the first?
Well, so there's the 50, 51, 52, and 53 are the first generation.
So he had a 52 Cooper S.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
So that's so the 53S is from 2002 to 2006, and then 2007 to 2014, I think, would be R56.
Oh, so maybe he had the same one that you had. All I remember is he had to change a pulley, and it involved he tried to make his own tool because it's this very specific, stupid shaped like lever with a pin and like a half moon in it tool to get pull the pulley down. Damn near had to pull. Yeah, he damn near had to pull the whole front passenger side suspension apart to get to the pulley. Made a tool off of a fucking diagram he saw it online, didn't work, ended up shelling out $350 for what was essentially a piece of flat steel with a half circle in it so that he could like change.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
So packaging super tight.
That's a fucking BMW fucking engineering.
It is,
That's
but like
exactly what it is.
But like those things are sick, dude. Like we used to carpool together in his car because I was driving my shitbox 240 and like it was either the brakes had caught on fire or the fucking engine eddy in the wiring harness or whatever. So we were always
it was falling apart from all the fucking
time.
wheels up.
Yeah, this is when I worked at Tesla, and he let me drive it to work a couple times, and I was like, this thing is super fucking fun, like full on go kart. So you say you making what are you at?
About 216, 217 around there.
Is that to the crank or to the wheels?
That's at the wheels.
To the wheels.
That's awesome.
That's fucking plenty for like a daily canyon car. That's like
the dream was always that what is that movie with Mark Wahlberg? The Italian Job. Dude,
also known as the best Fast and Furious movie ever, but whatever.
Yes. Not the ones they built, but the other ones that the very first one where it's Charlize, whatever.
The OG Mini. Yeah, the
OG Mini. Dude, I would love one of those. I saw a dude who had one with an S2000 motor in it, and like.
Okay, first of all, any engine swap in an OG Mini, you're trying to kill yourself. I don't give a fuck. Like,
yes, I am. Oh, yes, I am.
Who was it? There was a Zach Clapman from Smoking Tire. He drove one, and it was like a K20 turbo swap OG Mini.
Yeah, dude, that thing was wicked. That thing was wicked. All it did was do donuts.
Like
that's the plan one day is to build one of those.
It's literally like it's a wheelbarrow. You're just sitting in a wheelbarrow with 400 horsepower strapped to the front of it.
It's like I'm trying to
praying
see Jesus in like 0 to 60 seconds.
as fast as humanly
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's fun.
Yeah, so the Mini's
Oh.
the kind of the fun car for now, and I'm kind of bouncing around between 3 projects right now. So it kind of took the back burner for a little bit, but hopefully we'll get back on it soon and probably do a full roll cage and kind of go from there.
What are the projects?
Yeah.
Whatever projects do we have?
Well, the other one is my little brother has his bucket of junk 86 Golf in my garage. I pulled the motor on
God.
that. He wants to do a VR6 turbo swap on that, just because. And then the other one is my 74 Beetle that's the big project right
So
now.
that's a
the 74
super Beetle, right? So that's the
Yep.
is that the
so this is the standard
McPherson
Beetle.
Is it okay?
Standard.
Yeah.
So not
Uh,
I
McPherson
was a
strut.
Super Beetle.
By the way, the only thing that makes a Super Beetle super is McPherson's strut suspension. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's getting a fully forged internal STI motor that I'm building for it. So
Yes.
it's pretty much going to be a rocket. So that's the plan with that one.
Oh, I've seen those done before, and they're so
Yeah.
fucking cool. They're so
Yeah.
fucking because like you can make them look stock, like it doesn't like you know what I mean for the most part. Like I've
Yeah.
seen some guys where the engine's half hanging out. I've seen some guys who like go through the trouble of cutting the pancake and like make it work. Either way you do it, because either you have a fatty fucking EJ hanging out the ass end, or it doesn't look like
Yeah.
anything, and then it goes like fucking yeah. Because EJ is
That's
actually
the-
fast in
the
something
whole-
other than SDI.
Cut the hole.
Just let the ass hang out of it, like the
Yeah,
Fiat Abarth, the old Fiat fucking Abarth, where it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
here's an
I've-
engine cover.
I've seen that. My wife used to have a customer that has a blue VW, I think it is. It's an old school bug, and literally has an STI drivetrain in it. And
That's
The
the one I
videos-
was going to mention. Yes.
oh god, what is that guy?
Yeah,
I think his name is Justin or Jason.
I have no idea, but
Jeremy,
I've seen that before.
Jonathan.
Dude, like no. So it was the STI motor, and then he built the motor. So like the thing's
Yeah.
got like 450 horsepower in that little bug. Like,
Okay,
just
real-
like that's
real-
nuts.
real quick, because we're gonna actually get to the meat and potatoes of this, but there was a conversation that happened in the driver's chat today that fucking hurt me so deep. Okay. So Subaru is teasing the new WRX. Spoiler alert, it
God,
looks like a
this
cross
hurt.
track.
This hurt
It
so
looks like
bad.
a fucking cross. It's gonna be bad. Like it's gonna be ugly as fuck. Please don't buy one so they don't keep making them look like
like
that.
2022, like
Yeah,
Well,
2022.
you got a
W.
Subaru advisor sitting in front of you, so I guarantee he's already seen all of the shit for it.
I've seen some pictures of it. It's not good. It's a
Is
dumbed
the
down
S-
version of the concept.
So is the STI going to look any different? My thought process is maybe the black stuff is body painted. Maybe the black stuff is body painted.
That's why I haven't seen anything off the STI yet, but it's probably I'm
Hopefully.
hoping that it's painted. That's a lot of black plastic to just hang out on
Hopefully.
that car.
I'm praying
Hopefully.
because that is the only possible saving grace for that car. Because that shit is. I took some screen grabs and I think Grimspeed did too. Like if you go to Grimspeed,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
shout out
Yeah.
Grimspeed. I run all your shit.
Yeah.
Your stuff's super quality. Buy American. Anyway, I know Cobb's American too, but fuck him.
Fucking plug us, baby. Plug us. I don't give a shit. Plug it.
But we'll take your access port. That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally, yeah. Dude, if Grimspeed made an access port, I'd never run a Cobb product. Only because no, I've met the Grimspeed dudes in person. I've met them at SubiFest, and they're real as fuck. They're just
That's cool.
cool as fuck,
That's
dudes.
cool as fuck.
They were like, "Oh, all of our stuff is 15% off here at SubiFest." Blah 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 blah. And I was like, "Cool, you have a boost control solenoid and an intake?" He's like, "We just sold our last one," and I was like, "Bruh." And he goes. And he like goes to his boss and he comes back. He goes, type this code in. He's like, go on the website, type this code in. It's 15% off. They like
Dude,
set up a code so I could
that's
buy some
solid
shit.
right there.
And then they were like,
That's
and then
hella
they were like,
solid.
put a sign out after that for the rest of the weekend or whatever, so everybody else could use it. And I was like, that's fucking tight. Like these guys,
That's
dope.
gangster.
they gave me a
Hell yeah.
hat. It was great, right?
That's
Um,
cool. You
Gave
need
my
to
son a
put
bunch
them
of
all
stickers and shit like that. Yeah, so it was tight.
That's such like a nice experience in the car community.
Oh, dude, it's like
Yeah.
it makes me not want to
Oh,
run
hard.
anything else but Grimspeed parts. Like that's it. Like, I
Yeah.
just wanna, you know what I mean? It's like these dudes are fucking real as shit, and like they all drive Subies, and they're like, you know what I mean? Whatever. Anyway, the point I was trying to make is the new WRX is ugly, but the STI is going to run the FA24, right? Which is the new
Yeah.
DI. So it's DI.
It's that
All
motor.
that good shit. All that good shit.
Yeah,
It's
so
that
The
thing.
motor we've all been waiting for.
Other than the equal length headers, just purely from a sound standpoint,
Yeah.
but like performance wise, you can't argue with it. It's 400 horsepower. It is officially cheaper to buy an FA24 crate engine and swap it into your VA or any other prior. Because I'm assuming if it fits in a VA, it'll fit everything back to like a blob eye.
Yeah.
Oh,
Than
hell
it
yeah.
is
Have
than
to.
it is to build an EJ.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Because you can probably get an FA crate for like 9,500 tops, right? Somewhere around that kind of range. It's
Probably.
10 to 12 grand to get an EJ to 400 wheel horsepower. No, granted, that's 400 wheel versus 400 crank, but FAs take to like anything F Series takes to tuning and E85 and all that shit so much easier than EJs do. So like if you bought an FA24 and a flex fuel kit and slammed it in, you're making 400 wheel.
Can't wait. I can't wait.
So it's like I'm like this close to like just fucking saying fucking and buying a crate engine and just loading it in this year. Dude, like I just don't
wait.
400 wheel with a crate engine. That's it.
There's not a single crate engine that would fit in your car that makes 400 wheel.
He could put an LT1 in his GTO.
I would fucking pay to see that. I would love to see that.
I'd pay you $1,000.
I have a non-built block right now that
No,
makes
he's saying
400 wheel.
LT1. He's talking about a fucking V8, baby.
V8, yeah, V8. You're cutting the fucking shell out of that bitch. And like,
so wait, but the
shell
last
over
time
it.
there was Eagles involved with Germans. Never mind.
The war happened.
It's true.
Too real.
Yeah,
Dark Angel says, "I wish I had that experience with the diesel side of things." I'm assuming you're talking about Grinspeed. You had bad experience with some fucking part suppliers, man. I don't know anything about.
I'm gonna show you what he does right now. Hold on. This is kind of cool stuff. Dark
Steve,
Angel
what's your?
is-
I'm sure you. I don't know if you've listened to the podcast before, Steven, but usually what ends up happening is we bullshit for about 30 minutes and then get to the actual point. So, I said 15, not 50, but I feel it.
That's a glowing turbo.
Oh, I had the Dark Angel?
I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
Is that a Cummins?
That's a glowing turbo.
Is that a Cummins?
I'm gonna
Yeah,
give you
there you
double
go.
thumbs up on
Is
that
that
one.
a
'cause
Cummins
that's
or a
cool.
Power
That's
Stroke?
pretty
Also, where did
amazing.
Timmy disappear?
It's a Volvo motor.
Oh, what? What?
Flying
That-
brakes
I
all
will
day.
respect that. I will respect the shit out of that.
I love. Yeah,
That's
You know,
fucking cool.
I'm fucking with it.
it's
I'm fucking
that's
with
a
it.
Jenny motor generation or generator.
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 Making
It's
more
up.
power than any man's ever seen.
Pretty much.
That's right.
More power, baby.
Mo power.
All right, let's
Let's
get
get.
back on
Where's
track.
Timmy? Where the fuck is Timmy?
Well, Timmy's in my head, but let's get back on track to. Let's talk about photography. Let's talk about Chris and Steven while we had him really on the podcast too. These boys are amazing. Like let's not downplay their skill play. Let's not downplay any of the stuff. Like we use and abuse Chris out of the.
Chris does amazing
Abuse
work.
me, daddy.
He does.
Chris
He
does
does. He
amazing-
does. He
Here's-
does.
You do.
And here's the
Big-
thing is that
Big shout out to Chris.
And I think what kind of phone. I mean, it doesn't matter what kind of phone you use. If you have a newer generation phone, whatever the fuck it is, if it's any kind of half decent Samsung, if it's any kind of half decent iPhone, there's a lot you can do with them. I don't even know. Like I know that like even on iPhones you can adjust white balance, you can adjust ISO, you can do all this other shit to kind of dial in your photos. And you guys can both just even if it's just putting your phones up to the cameras because we don't have you set up to screen share and stuff like that. What like when you see guys take photos of their cars with their phones? What is the most common things that you see that just makes like your penis go inverted? You know what I mean? Like it's like the really easy shit aside from fucking with settings. Let's start with just basic composition, framing, positioning. Like what are some really easy things that people fuck up a lot? I'm sure I'm doing.
Your biggest thing in photography is composition, right? Composition is what makes an interesting photo.
So explain that a little bit more. Like when you say when we say composition, like
what is?
I know nothing about photography. Like I know nothing about it.
Okay, composition. Going basic rules of thirds, right? So basically, I know there was something to do. There was something to do with like the golden ratio, and this is just pretty much like an easier version
but
of the golden ratio.
If you bring up like everybody who's listening, everybody's watching right now. If you whether you're here, you're at home, or you're watching this later, or whatever. Yeah, there you go. If you bring up your phone, it makes the grid, right? You get the 9 squares. That's what that's. Now I understand
On an
that
iPhone.
applies to the rule of thirds. You can get it to do it on a Samsung too. You can go into your pro settings and have it bring it up. It'll say the graph or whatever. But how does one functionally use that?
Pretty much using one of these, I guess, in a sense of just kind of dumbing it down a little bit more. Essentially,
Make it
if
as
you
stupid
line
as you
something up, if you line something up on one of these cross points on one of these trigger hairs, technically it would be a good photo. It could technically be a good photo. If you
So
have
on any
something
one of the
interesting-
intersection points, is that what you mean?
Yeah, one of the intersection points.
So where the
Pretty
two
much like one
lines
of the
meet.
crosshairs. Yep,
Okay,
where the two
okay.
lines meet.
And it doesn't matter if you're horizontal or you're landscape or portrait. Sorry, let's be
Oh, yeah.
fancy. Doing photography talk. Landscape or portrait.
Get it right, Alex. Damn
Sorry,
it.
guys.
Damn it.
Anyway. So that's step one. Now, in using those crosshairs, and Steven, I want to hear from you too. It's really easy to say like, oh, if you line one of those up, like it should be a decent photo. But I'm sure that there's like still a bit of skill involved in deciding which one to use given what layout, like if your car is parked in a parking lot, or like should you be looking at it, like if you're looking at it from above, like which one should you use? If you're looking at it from below, which one to use? If you're on an even plane, like how do you guys kind of decide where you position yourselves relative to that crosshair, relative to the car, the subject you're photoing? Like, you know what I mean? Like just the kind of stuff to really dig in. Like if you have the subject being the vehicle, right? Where do you place that? Obviously, you're not going to take up the whole photo with the car because then you get no background, you get no kind of like setup, right? And that was the thing that I used to do all the time, is like fill the frame with the car. It looks like shit. Don't do that. like you need to. The little shit that I have seen is like you're trying to create a scene, right? Like you're trying to compose a total shot. I'm talking too much. Let the guys who know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So like a big thing for me is if you're going to use, let's just say like the bottom two squares, whatever you have right in front of that doesn't really matter a whole lot. It's what's behind that also.
Okay.
So if you're going to use the bottom two squares, that top information better be worth looking at, because at that point your eyes are going to start at the bottom and draw your way inward, looking at the rest of the scenery. So it's a lot of things called leading lines, where if you have like lines in a parking lot, if you're really setting up like a perfect shoot, those leading lines, your eyes are going to follow that into the center, usually where the subject is. So if you have just one big car right in the center, there's nothing, there's too chaotic, your eyes are looking all over the place, versus having something that draws your eye to certain points is what you want.
Okay. So fucking get this. Do they work for nudes? I don't know. I guess it depends on the size of your dick and if it leads anybody anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, yeah, depending on the aperture settings, your growth could look bigger than it could be.
How far are we zoomed in here? That's really the question we're asking. How far are we zoomed in? How far are we
Yeah.
going?
Yeah.
All the way.
Here
All
are we
the way
going
for that
here?
Right? Are we fully past optical zoom into digital because we're ringing it out? We're hitting red line.
Oh my god.
So let's do this. Chris, I'm on your IG right now. Because only for the simple reason that
It's really
Chris's
small,
page
so
at
I
this point
need a
is
good zoom.
well, no, Chris's page is now officially only photography. Like he's kind of transitioned off his personal page onto only photography. So it just makes it a little easier for the purposes of like kind of setting this up. So
Yeah.
if we go to, and this is a photo that a lot of people have seen, if you follow us, if you follow Chris at Cupcake, CUPCVKE_. I actually said that right. So this is the photo of and if you guys have this stream up, you can take a look at this. This is the photo of the two GTRs, which we get to say that. We get to say that our friends were hanging out. And there was two GTRs. And
I know a guy that owns the GTR.
So we know two guys with GTRs. Well, so the two guys with GTRs were hanging out with their other buddy who has a 500 horsepower GTI. That's where we're at. We've made it, baby. Anyway,
I love my GTR, by the way.
so kind of going back to what Steven was saying about leading lines, you have this like obviously Chris has decided to put the cars in the center of that grid, right? So like on a landscape, you have the two vehicles across the three middle squares. So if everybody's like imagining those 9 blocks,
Yeah.
right?
100%.
And then I can see now that I actually kind of know what I'm looking at that you have the blocks starting just below the bottom right crosshair, right? Looking at it that way, drawing you visually around the driveway into where the cars are.
Yep.
Right. So you have like, and then you have the tree framing in the back, right? Which is kind of nailing those other two crosshairs as you go up. You have, is that Lenny off to the side?
Yeah.
Right. And then anything past the cars, like you kind of stop giving a fuck about because GTRs, right? Whatever. And then if you look, but there's something going on in every edge of the shot, but it's like very clearly like drawing you in. And obviously, you know, I don't know what you would call that, like the blurring perspective at the foreground, right? So that it's just kind of like,
yep,
right, like you drawn towards detail, right? Like just looking at it from like an idiot's perspective, I'm drawn towards where there's more detail going on versus less detail, right?
Well,
So,
if you look at like you say like detail, right? Look at how like almost the skylines are like perfect, and then you really can't tell if that's Lenny, and honestly, you can't tell if that's Tim. Like
it does look that does look like Timmy's dumbass.
It looks like Tim. It does, right? And Tim wasn't there, but like it draws your attention to like you guys are talking about, like that focal point right in the middle, like right in the vision. And but you look at the trees are also kind of they're there, but they're also blurred. There's no detail to it. But I can see the reflection off of both skylines, and you can see my skyline into Lenny's, and it's like that. Like I never thought about that for photography, right? Like you never thought about that kind of idea of I need to bring you into this picture versus it's just a picture. Like,
yeah,
never thought about
exactly.
that at
And
all.
that's like that's the I mean that's the whole reason why we're doing this, right? Because it's like that doesn't. This is a photo that you could take with an iPhone, and granted, it would not look as good because you're obviously doing a lot with aperture, and you've gone back and edited it after the fact and all that stuff and really cleaned it up. But compositionally, even if you didn't have all that going on, like this would be a good looking shot, right? Like this would be a cool shot to look at, aside from being two GTRs or anything like that. So, and that was kind of one of the reasons why I picked something like that. But this next one is kind of like a more dead on. It's just a shot of Lenny's GTR. I think this is a shot that, and Steven, if you can't see it, twitch.tv/Revmatch Podcast, it'll actually be up on the screen. And that way you can, you can kind of say what you would do and like the things you would point out. But this is a little bit more, what I would think would be more of like a standard shot that a guy would take of his car.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's also a really easy shot to fuck up and like not make interesting, right? Like you've got like, so like what would you guys do in the situation? How would you set up a simple shot like this? Like if you're using an iPhone.
This Steven kind of touched on this earlier, which was creating depth in your photos. Essentially, I mean, you pick out your focal point of like that specific item you want to pick out. Like, I feel like iPhone or like any phone's strength is going to be in portrait mode for sure, because you have that digital blur, which essentially creates like that bokeh effect, and essentially like how like I'm in focus here, but my background's just blown out and out of focus, right? So that would be adding like a 2D photo. So essentially, if you were to try to create like a 3D photo, essentially you have a depth of field in the middle or in the bottom, and then you have your focal point in the middle, and you have your background, right? I mean, that would essentially give you a pretty cool photo with the phone if you were to take it.
Like something like this picture here, it's nice because there's two different levels to look at a picture. There's the top to bottom that's in your foreground, and there's also the depth in the background. So this one, like you see, there's nothing going on in like the ground there. If there was a leaf or something there, it would throw off the whole picture. But since there's nothing there, your eyes go straight to the GTR, and it doesn't really matter anything in the background. You know, there's some other cars, a house, and none of that really matters because all you're now focused on is this. So it brings your eyes in a lot better. And then even if you start over on the left-hand side of the chain link fence, it draws you straight on into the front grille there.
Right. So that again, really that line bringing you back in. So
everything brings you back in.
What's crazy about this photo is like I love this photo of Lenny's car. Like the detail, the orientation, and all that stuff. And now that we're sitting here talking about like these grids, I didn't notice like you could see my entire wheel and like back of the car and the tail lights. Like now that you really like look at the photo and like how you guys draw attention to the photo, like yeah, that's great looking Lenny Lenny's car. Like it looks great. I'm like,
He's
wow.
like, yeah,
you really
Lenny's car's
see-
great, but look at my car in the photo.
No, but I
Lenny's.
was I mean, like they talk about like you're enhancing like the detail and like I can see like the whole background and Lenny's like rear in the front bumper and you look down the side, you can see like the open garage. There's people in there. Like I didn't like really look
and
at the
here's
photo,
my
I
question
guess, right?
too. Well, yeah, and here's my question too. Like, from your guys' perspective, like if you're just trying to take like a decent shot of your bucket, is that something you even worry about, or is that just one of those things like, you know, frame the shot properly, get the composition right, make it look clean, and if that so happens to be there, then sweet, and if not, then fucking whatever.
Much, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Well, I
sure
mean,
Chris did it on purpose. Like, I'm not.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I've got my iPhone. I'm in my driveway taking pictures of the car I just washed, and I wanted to take a cool ass picture and post it on Instagram. All I got is my iPhone. You got the latest and greatest, whatever it is. How do you do it?
Yeah. I mean, we're getting to that age where, I mean, you're having phones like an iPhone 12 Pro Max, you know, there's like fucking 3 apertures on here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a 12
Like-
Pro because I have baby hands. Pro tip.
Yeah.
Funny story. I'm 6 feet, 200 pounds with the hands of a toddler, but here we are.
Yeah, you suck. By the way.
I mean, rate like I don't shoot. I suck at photography, but go ahead on my Instagram and do the
Okay.
one of the STI, the GTR, and then my car.
That's
in
a
the
very
background.
good photo. That is a very good
I'm
photo.
gonna look it up right now.
But like if you two had a tip for anybody watching who's a day to day, because I am like I love taking pictures of my car, but like I'm like
This is a good photo.
what angle do I get? What do I do? Like what is like that's a perfect
I feel like
perfect
Kyle
photo.
inadvertently lined up a great photo because like you have the GTR on one side, literally in the crosshair. You have the STI on the other side, literally in the crosshair, and you have the lines down the driveway leading back to his car.
Yeah,
Right,
100%.
leading out to, and his car, the center of his car is lined up on that upper rightmost crosshair. Right, so it's like this is like the even a blind squirrel can find a nut every once in a while kind of situation.
Yeah.
That's
kidding.
exactly.
I mean, no, that's it's
But it's
true.
this
Now
is a
that
great shot. Yeah.
well, now that they explain it that way, like I just process it differently, right? You're like, oh, the grids. Oh shit, I can see how like
Right.
they like to that point. Like
Yeah.
that is totally different way to think about photography and look at it and like, oh shit, I'm trying to draw people into a certain point. How can I get them there to that point?
Like
Yeah.
in this case, he's using, 2 average, JDM cars to go straight to his, German car,
Yeah.
Ouch!
Toyota
Ow!
Prius.
I
haven't been in the GTR yet.
Ah,
Jesus,
what?
dude.
That's not my fault. You live 2 hours
Soren
away.
2J's out here in the chat talking hellish shit about fucking Kyle's car, the red Prius, the great German red Prius. 0 to 60 in 5 to 7 business days. It's pretty great.
Oh, hey, I will not even challenge Kyle. Fuck that. That
Kyle's
is
car
not
is
something I
fast
want.
as fuck, boy.
And it got upgraded. So Thor, I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're listening,
Thor didn't have shit for him anyway. No, Kyle's the
You want-
fastest dude. Kyle's the fastest
you want
dude in
nothing
the
now.
podcast.
You want nothing
Period.
now.
Like,
He will
point
like
blank,
here.
period,
Here was the
answer.
gap before. Here's the gap now.
I think at 400 wheel, I'd have him on the hit, but
Yeah.
like past 90 feet, I don't think I'd still have him. Like, you know what I'm
Bye.
saying? Like once he like, and if it's a roll, it's a done deal. You know what I mean? Like fucking just kraut all the way down.
It's
the
all
street.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
I like how Timmy just disappeared in the middle.
Where'd
of the
Timmy go?
fucking-
Yeah.
He's getting done It's fine.
I'll
Don't
text
worry.
y'all the rest of the stuff. You know, he's good. He's good. He's helping the wifey right now.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Very
okay.
unfortunate timing, but hey, it's just me, Steve, Chris, Kyle, Mike, and our friend the Black Box. No big deal.
I love it.
It's
I love
So
it.
Kyle, Scotty's been doing stuff to his car. He's got the
Dude, I
EQ2
saw that.
stage 2 tune, I think. I put a downpipe on it, exhaust. He's got like a new speed intake on there. So it's getting there. I
Did you
told
cut
him
the
I'll do
fenders off of
anything
it
that
yet?
I told him that's the only thing I won't do is I will not cut his fenders off.
Please don't.
Do you understand? And
Please do
Scotty,
not-
if you
oh
watch
my
and you
God.
listen to these, I'm sorry right now. I'm gonna roast the shit out of you. We wrecked you every single day for that beat ass GTI. You used to drive to work,
It's a true
and then
story.
you got like you wrecked it or you got some kind of accident, and then
Oh.
you tried to cover it up with stickers and like, bro, you ruined that GTI.
It was not
You
great.
ruined it.
Let's just say he was going through a weird phase. He wanted to be.
He was finding
He
himself.
wanted,
And,
yeah,
He
he was
didn't. He
finding.
didn't get the crowd on
He
top of the
was
hot dog. He never got the crowd
finding
on top of the hot dog. Now
He
he
was
gets the crowd.
finding himself.
Now,
So now
now he's got a Mark 7. He's stage
Yep.
2.
yeah.
I don't know what else he has. Does he have an intercooler?
Like we
what
summoned
else? Yeah.
him.
Oh,
I
Timmy's
guess like
back.
the intercooler's on back burner for a while, so he doesn't have that, but he did suspensions. He's got H&R coilers on it.
Okay.
So I mean, he's on the right track. So he's
Good.
got to bounce
He's
between that,
corrected
and
the
yes,
errors
he's,
of his ways. That's what's all. That's
yeah,
all that's
finally,
important.
Knocked some sense into him, and he has the Tiguan now too that he's going for like a overland kind of build on it. So he's got I think it's H&R a lift kit on it now, or he's going to put it on there.
Yeah, I saw a picture of that. That looks good.
So-
Yep.
Okay, so we
You
got
say
one
he's gonna
Tiguan
lift a
that's lowered.
Tiguan? You say he's
We
lifting a
got one
Tiguan?
lowered Tiguan. We got a lifted Tiguan. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he needs to he's DSG, right?
Man,
No, he's 6-speed.
Oh shit, he
So
fucked up.
he actually, he just put the. I think he got the clutch from EQT, so he's got some stage 2 or 3 clutch or something. He just put in
Oh,
there.
that's right. He did message me about that. I totally forgot.
So
yeah,
I drove that thing in the canyons the other day, and it's pretty quick. It's on its way. So
yeah.
I'm
Take
proud of
those.
it.
So yeah, no, my so the Outback, which by the way, I'm gonna forever mourn the loss of the 3.6 R Outback. The
That's
fact
such
that
a good engine.
such a great engine. That thing fucking boogies, dude. I like.
It's such a good gas mileage.
I fuck the gas mileage. That shit hooks. I'll be
I mean,
racing
yeah.
Tahoes on the freeway and shit. Anyway, so my wife, her lease is up in October, and we'll probably extend it 3 or 4 months. But I'd be eyeballing those Tiguan's, man, because
Nice.
450 horsepower Tiguan.
bro, literally just bought the Tiguan off a lease. We're going to get
Oh.
it tuned.
Oh,
in
you
2
bought the
weeks.
Tiguan?
What?
Let's
Bought the
go.
Tiguan. 2 weeks. We're getting it tuned.
There
That's
we
dope.
go. That's
That's
what's up.
dope.
Where are you going?
You know, like
Going
factory
to your
APR.
boys down the street.
WRD in Roseville. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. $500 to tune that thing, and it'll have it's 56 extra wheel horsepower and
56?
90 foot-pounds of torque.
That's fucking wild.
Wow.
I
Off
fucking
of a
hate
tune.
that
Just-
so much.
Just a tune.
Nothing else.
Yeah, I understand. I understand, Kyle. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying.
Just a tip.
Just
Hey,
the tip.
just Alex, it's fine. Just sign the contract right now for the Golf R, and Kyle can eat a dick.
I'd still have to throw money at it, but I mean, at
You would
least
still have to look. Yeah.
I'd still have to throw a little bit of money at it, but I mean,
But you'd be in the German gang.
and my interior would be way nicer than Kyle's. No cap.
Oh.
Show me the
Oh,
lie.
man.
Show me that digital.
So nice.
Can I tell you something? And I'm gonna make a real hot boy confession right now. I just want something with a digital dash so bad.
I do. I want that.
I'm
I
about
do.
to fuck around and throw a Haltac in the STI just so I can get a digital dash.
You know, it's funny. Mike's wife told me about the Golf R that's sitting at Volkswagen right now,
Don't do it.
bro. Look
Don't
at
do it.
my lady's looking at me funny.
RS3.
I mean, well, here's my real question: how much of this could you pull all this shit off the GTI and put it on the Golf R?
Yes.
Fuck. Damn, maybe-
Actually, everything except for the downpipe.
is that just a clearance issue?
It's a different turbo.
Different angle.
Okay, so you need a downpipe. So
Yeah.
you and Mike could both be buying versions of the same car you already own.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it though.
Hey, hey, I haven't talked about that yet.
Bruh, listen,
Bruh.
bruh. You're about
We
to
haven't-
get tacos.
you're-
I'm sorry.
Okay.
you're
well,
about to spend
here it
$400
goes.
to ship a part from Texas to you so you can go buy a goddamn car. You best believe I'm dropping dime. Mike's buying a new
God
STI.
damn it, Alex! God damn it!
That's some shit. That's some shit.
First of all, that's some homie shit because I'm about to send this fool my tooth. Do you know what the value of that downpipe is? I looked it up today. You know what a brand new one?
Know
Yeah,
what
it's
the
a
fucking downpipe is. I looked it up today.
it's a $2,000 downpipe, and I'm gonna send it to him so that he can go and monkey his way into a new STI, so
Hey.
he can have the good EJ and not the bad EJ. Because I'm a
That's
homie.
a steak. That's a steak dinner if I ever heard of one.
That's a homie. That's a homie hookup, dude.
I tell you
I-
what, when we
I
come
like
out to
that it's
Texas,
white.
I got your steak dinner. I'll
There
tell
you
you
go.
that right now.
I got you.
Bring my downpipe
Yeah,
with you because
right
I'm
now.
trying to sell that shit and buy some wheels. Anyway,
Not the, hey, we already had that conversation.
yo, you know what? Real talk. I may have you keep it down there and sell it for me
All right.
because there's not a market for them here. Because in the free
There's-
world, you don't need
there's
cats
more-
anyway.
We'll talk about that. Whatever.
There's a huge
But
market
yes,
in
I
California.
am
That's my point. Yeah.
trading in the 15 for a 2019 STI limited edition.
Yeah.
It's nicer than mine. I'm
white.
a little mad, but I'm gonna leave it alone. And it's white, and I wanted a white one, and now two of
and
my
it's
friends
white,
have white ones, but I
and
wanted a white one.
and
But don't be
it's
jealous.
got
Don't be jealous.
4,000 miles on it with every option available possible.
It's brand new.
It's
Yeah.
brand new.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, I'm gonna tell you
I
something
am-
right now that's gonna really hurt your feelings, though.
God,
Just
don't
so you
do
know.
it, please,
No,
bro.
I just want you. It's
don't-
really important that you know this because I know it's
Do
got the
it.
Harman. I know it's got the Harman Kardon stereo. It's still garbage.
It's still garbage.
It's so garbage.
It's Subaru, bro. Their
It's just
audio-
garbage
Dude.
with a subwoofer instead of garbage without a
Yeah,
subwoofer.
whatever. When I'm cranking 400 horsepower out of it with probably what $5,000 investment versus
That's cute.
$15,000.
Probably
That's
like
cute.
10,000.
It's still 10 grand.
You think it's 10?
I
Yeah.
know for a fact I priced it out. It's still 10 grand. But the biggest difference
Is
is
that full bolt-ons?
we'll get it. We're super deviating. We're super getting off topic, but we need to have that conversation in a
Yeah,
second
we'll get
too, and then we'll get because we've kind of set up composition. And I want to get into like ISO and white balance and shit like that too. But let's have this bullshit Subaru conversation in the middle of it. It's still gonna cost you 10 grand, but you don't got to worry about blowing the bottom end.
Did I send it to you?
What?
The STI.
Yeah, I've seen
You
it. Yeah,
didn't even send it to me, and then
it's
you
in the
asked me
fucking
to-
Discord, you dick.
In the
You sent it to
Discord.
You're
everybody.
right.
I
Yeah.
said so. I may have fucked up. And
So, yeah, so the biggest-
scumbag.
So the biggest thing, Mike, is that
Always come back into that.
it's 10. So keep this in mind. It's $10,000 to get 400 wheel reliably on the new EJ. You can get 400 wheel on the old EJ for the same amount of money, but how long it hangs on is between you, the car, and your maker.
And, yeah, we
And your
talked
head.
about this. I mean,
And Jesus.
The old EJ, if I wanted to get 400 horsepower,
You need a bottom end.
supposedly,
You need a
yeah,
bottom end.
supposedly reliably is at least 15 grand right now.
Yeah, because you
Really?
got to put
Well,
rods and pistons and better head gaskets
I
in
mean,
it and all types
that's a
of
built
yeah.
motor. That's a G20 from Cobb. That's tuning. That's E85. That's
Yeah.
all that stuff. If I
You
can
need
take-
everything. You need all the same shit minus the rods and pistons, bearings, and all
If
that
I
shit.
can take probably $9,000 out of that, I'm okay with that.
And you
I
get
mean-
a brand new one.
Yeah,
I've
you get a
always
new one.
wanted
You get
a
Apple
white one.
CarPlay. You get no dents. You
I
get
always wanted a white.
Also,
one.
the gear ratios are different.
Yeah.
Second
The
and
third
third,
gear
is,
is
second,
shorter.
and, second and third
might-
are different.
We
Okay.
might change the wheel color. We might.
I'm with
change the
that.
wheel color.
I'm with that.
Like
And-
you're gonna paint the factory wheel?
No. Just powder coat the Koenigs.
Okay, I was gonna say I really like the factory.
We might change the wheel color. And
I think you should do. I think you should do the green. I think the green fucks on a white car.
Not
Really?
not opposed to that, but hear me out.
I agree with that. But go
Green?
ahead.
My 03 had gold wheels.
Oh, that's also tight.
I'm totally
I'm not mad
down
at
with
either.
that.
I'm not mad at either one of those suggestions.
I always wanted white on gold. We've talked about this a million times.
But
So
okay,
I-
so here
I'm
let's roll this back. Let's bring Steven back in. We dragged him on here his fucking birthday. You work for Subaru. You work for Subaru. You're obviously like some part of you has to like those cars, otherwise you don't go to work for that brand. For like, I don't feel like anybody falls into Subaru if they're a car guy. If they're a car guy, right? Like there's
I
some
love
kind of
Toyota.
right. So you obviously know how shitty those engines are.
Yeah. So I used to have one. I bought a 2017 in 2016. WRX.
Oh, did you get rid of that?
Girlfriend. Oh yeah, a long time ago.
Oh, I didn't know. that. Shit. Fuck.
Yeah, I wrecked the clutch on that thing in 30,000 miles, and then made Super pay for it, and then yeah, we got rid of it.
30,000?
I've got it.
That's it, bro.
Yeah.
30,000.
Yeah,
Those clutches are garbage.
the stock WRX clutches are terrible. I drove that car. Yeah, we drove it for a while. It was nice, and then I just wasn't ever gonna be what I wanted to be. It was just never gonna be an STI. So yeah, we got rid of it, and then she ended up getting a Jeep or something, and then she has a Mini now for some reason.
So that's like a. So that's like a. It's funny that you say that because like I have a buddy who bought 2 WRXs, VAs, both of them. He went white 2018, then to a truck, and then 2020 World Rally Blue.
You told us about this guy.
Right, and then he traded that in for a white STI. And he sends me the text, and he goes, "Yo, heads up, this is what it is. My payment goes up $100." Like, and he already had like, he had a stage 1 tune in a J pipe and all, and faction fab coilovers and all this other shit.
Mhm.
Or no, Fortune, my bad, Fortune Auto. And he goes, "Is it worth it?" And I go, "I don't care how much money you throw at your WRX. It's never gonna have 3 LSDs. It's never gonna have like all of that drivetrain.
Right.
Yeah.
Like your engine is technically better, considering you can get to 400 for a lot less money, but that's it. Like you're still gonna have to pull it apart if you want anything more than that. If you want to go to 5, the block will handle 5 really reliably. A Travis from Snail is still pushing his Type RA at 535 wheel horsepower.
Yeah.
Tracks it, dailies it, beats the shit out of it. It's been that way for like 3 years now. Car runs fine, no major failures, right? Just does maintenance, puts good, put fucking modal in it, put good brake fluid in it, take care of the fucking car, it'll treat you well, right? But that's your point. That's the point I was trying to make. Is like, dude, if you want an STI, buy an STI.
Yeah.
And like, don't buy a WRX and try to make it an STI. You'll spend way more money. Just wait. Like if you're pushing the Civic and it runs, and you're about to go pull the trigger on a WRX, save up another $8,000 and just go buy a fucking STI, dude, and like save yourself
100%.
a lot of heartache, right? Like don't buy a V6 Marrow
And,
hoping
like-
to make it a fucking SS. Like just leave, like wait, dude.
Or be like me and get a WRX, blow it up, and then like spend 2 years making it an STI in your garage.
And then
There you
blow
go.
it up.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
that thing was
yeah.
cool. I liked that thing. You know what? Like
I did
this,
like your depth.
this stage 3 clutch was so ignorant. Like the shit.
It was
It's
like
Leg day.
285 wheel horsepower. And he has a stage 3 clutch.
He was ready,
Leg
bro. He was
day.
ready to put a big ass turbo on that shit and run it.
He was ready to do it.
So
Anyway,
close.
it's fucking crazy. So yeah, that's what Mike's buying a new STI.
Timmy,
So get ready for
Timmy, your dog
I am.
just jumped up in the air.
She wants to go
Buying
outside.
a new one, stripping the gray one down to nothing essentially. So I'm gonna yank all the parts off of it: suspension, the coilovers, the sway bars, wheels and tires.
I forgot you have sway bars on that thing.
Down pipe, cat back exhaust. I'm yanking all of it off, access port, and literally all of that transitions into the 19. So at some point, I will put all of that stuff back on the 19 and get a fuel pump, get a boost controller, and maybe injectors, and let's have
So
fun.
So injectors are about $900. So if you want to make the power that I'm making, which is like 311, 360 on a Mustang, so on a dyno is probably like 350, 400 on 91.
Right.
The $150 AEM fuel pump.
Yep.
And $115 Grimspeed boost controller, and then an intake and all that normal shit, right? But
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I don't.
intake, yeah.
And you already have the downpipe, you already have the exhaust. Soren 2J goes, "What about a Genesis G80 3.3 turbo?" Y'all seen Hoonigan's episode, but on the okay, I
Those
did see
things
that.
are fast.
I've seen that episode. This dude smokes a GTR R33. Granted, King anytime Gary didn't drive it the greatest, but it's we had this whole conversation last episode, right? Like, it's a new twin turbo V6. There's power on the table. There's so much power on the table, right? Like he put intakes and fucking tuned it, and it made like 540 wheel horsepower, all-wheel drive horsepower, some stupid shit. like 2 days after you bought it. You buy any new car, you throw a little bit of money at it. If it's got a turbo on it, you're gonna make a fuckload of power. So if you don't like get off on building cars and you just want something that's super comfy and fast, like just go buy anything that's come out in the last 24 months that has a turbo on it and like throw 2 G's at it and fucking have fun, dude. Like that's it. Back to the reason why we're here. So we've talked about composition. Now that we went on, hey, listen, I want to point out we haven't talked about 911s once this entire episode. Good job, guys.
You had to bring that
We
shit
were
up.
close. We were fucking close. We were close, man.
Technically, we talked about it at the beginning.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
guess
Talked about
what?
the
Your
shirt.
boy may or may not have forgotten to hit record, so that didn't even get recorded.
Oh,
that won't make it on the-
snap.
The first 10 minutes of the podcast didn't make it, so I'm gonna have to do a voiceover introduction as to who Steven is and what he drives. But I got you. I'll drop your IG. Don't worry about it.
What we do,
Um,
bro? What we do?
It's my first time streaming and recording at the same time. It's one where I should click. I'm a little stupid. Here we go. Dude, I have a YouTube video that's supposed to drop like 3 weeks ago, and I'm still working on it. Like I'm an idiot.
What are you talking about? What is your white claw called? What'd you call that shit?
The Yee Claw, bro.
The Yee Claw.
Yee Claw.
And he's had like 3 Yee Claws.
The first one.
Dude, you
haven't
need,
even
you need a
tried.
pickup truck, kid.
Oh my
Huh?
god.
I
you
got
pick up
an
truck.
email. I got email today saying that the truck's built
Okay,
and it's on the
so
way
everybody
out to
that's
California.
watching and listening to this.
Mike, put your mic closer to your mouth.
Chris Kidd has been on this Toyota.
Pilgrimage.
Ah,
Toyota pilgrimage.
Motherfucker
You
said
wanna call it a- you wanna
pilgrimage.
call it that?
Did
You
your
wanna
bike
call it
sell?
that?
Did
It's
the
a
bike
journey.
sell?
It's
I
a
mean, he
journey.
wants to
Yeah, has
buy
the
this
R1 sold?
Tacoma That's like
The R1 is
Um,
not
off
sold.
road.
It's
The
kind
R-
of real
but
close. It's kind of real
Once
close.
it put like a tent and trailer and all that stuff on it, I'm 100% about it. It's
How
still
about you-
ugly as shit. It's still ugly as shit. What the fuck are you doing?
A Tacoma? It's
A
like
Tacoma?
How much
I
you
mean,
wait,
I like-
wait, wait,
I
wait,
like
wait, wait,
Ryan's
wait, wait,
truck.
wait,
Hear me
wait,
out.
wait, wait,
Hear me
wait,
out.
wait, wait, wait,
Thank
wait,
you,
wait,
Tim.
wait, wait, wait,
Thank you,
wait,
Tim.
wait, wait, wait. You're buying a TRD Pro, right?
yes.
It's still ugly.
So wait up. Hey, Chris.
Wait a minute.
What's
Go on.
this? What's the sticker on that V6 pickup truck?
You see what happened was
Man, you know the thing with numbers, there's a lot of them, right? There's a lot of numbers, right?
There's a
And
lot
when
of
you go
numbers
into a
on TRD.
Toyota, they
Beyond a
go
certain
up a
point,
lot.
it gets
They-
beyond a certain point, it gets blurry.
let me rephrase this. Will you or will you not be carrying a 4-figure payment on a Toyota?
No. Depending if certain assets were to move
Close.
in time.
It's close.
Money down.
Certain
Not with
assets.
money down.
Certain assets
Huh?
that may or may not be worth $15,000.
We've revised the selling price multiple times with my guy.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it's at a comfortable number now, and hopefully it can move in 2 weeks.
So anybody that knows
Even
anything
waiting.
about those TRD Pros is they're fucking expensive as fuck for reasons that I cannot
Beyond.
really.
What?
I just want you to point out that you're
It's-
paying
I
base.
mean-
You're paying base Raptor money for a fucking Tacoma, but and if that
There's no
doesn't put it,
Run 3 times.
There's no
longer.
markup.
it will. Yeah, if you get it for no markup, that's one. It will run 3 times
There's no
longer.
markup. Right.
It will run 3 times longer than a Raptor. And I can attest to the fact that when I was working at Rover, we took in a TRD Pro 4Runner. It had 41,000 miles on it, and we sold it in 24 hours for original MSRP.
Yeah, I can get big chunks
Yep.
of it back in a few
Yep.
years.
Yeah,
Better-
so
better
it-
work
get out of
for you.
it.
So
Better
it's
work
like
for you.
it's like Rolex level way of like just kind of hiding money for a little while. You know what I mean?
And it's
like,
ridiculous
let's go
because when
put
you
it
think
in,
of
let's
it,
go-
it's
I'll tell you
Toyota.
right now. We took in a Tacoma at Porsche. It was a 4-wheel drive. I don't know if it was a TRD Pro. 210,000 miles on it. Sold for 30 grand.
Mhm. It's dumb. I'm looking for like
30
the
grand.
I'm looking for like the
motor has
OG.
210,000
They're
miles on it.
fucking rated. The average mileage on any Toyota, whether it be 400 Tacoma or fucking Tundra, is like 350 G's, dude.
I know. I know.
Chris,
Like,
isn't your Tacoma gonna be white?
it's
Yeah.
disgusting.
Okay.
Give me a
Anyway,
Stormtrooper.
can we stop ruining Steven's birthday? Can we just stop ruining
Yes.
Steven's birthday for a minute?
I know. He missed like a sushi date or something. for
No,
his fucking
I'm
birthday.
into trucks. That's cool. I'm still waiting for mine to show up.
I want to know on a scale of 1 to 10.
Ranger.
On a scale of 1 to 10. So my initial question was to be on a scale of 1 to 10. How much fun are you having? Now my question is to be on a scale of 1 to 10. How much do you regret agreeing to come on this podcast? Right?
Ooh.
0.
0.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yes.
We like it.
Yes.
Okay.
I love
So
it.
going back to photography. So
Let's get back to the.
so we talked about composition, and that was actually really, I think that was really eye opening even for me. Like that was nuts because like I'd always run with those lines up because I was like, oh yeah, a rule of thirds. Like I knew what the fuck that meant. Pro tip, I didn't. Right. So
Guilty as charged.
guilty as charged. But there's obviously a lot more that goes into it. I know, when we go do photo shoots, Chris spends a lot of time, week, 2 weeks after the fact. Obviously, he's doing paid gigs and stuff like that, and he has a day job and all that shit. But
Sometimes forgets to send certain people's photos.
What?
what?
Wow.
Bitch, it's free. Shut up.
What?
I'm free at this point.
That's like complaining about a Little Caesars pizza when that bitch is $5. Get out of here. Anyway, so there's a lot of After Effects shit that you guys do, but obviously if you're using a phone, which most of the people that we're kind of talking about would be, and again, I'm talking modern phones come out in the last 2-3 years, right? Where if you go into your settings, you have the ability to, there's filters, there's preset filters and a lot of stuff. So actually, let's talk about filters. What are the mistakes you see people make when it comes to the built-in filters on like cameras and phones?
Overexposed, underexposed.
So what do you mean by that when you say overexposed, underexposed? Like if you're an idiot, what if you don't know what exposure means when it comes to taking a photo?
Overexposed meaning that pretty much the whole thing's just blown out in white. Like whatever was white is now like ultra white, and whatever was dark is like also ultra white.
Okay, Steven, what would you say is like a good rule of thumb when it comes to exposure? Obviously, it varies, but
Yeah, as far as like After Effects and editing and everything, like the perfect way to do it is you would change your sliders to make sure that the most white point on the photo is perfect white, and then the darkest black is 100% black. So and then from there, everything will even out in the middle, so that way you have a good range.
So you look at like, just so I can try to, because I'm trying to learn here too, right? So if I take a photo of my car, right? My car is black, so I have a great reference point, right? So I look for a point on my car that has no reflection, right? Because that's going to be the darkest black, no light shining off it, right? Yeah. And then I find a point, whether it be on a house or whether it be a cloud or whatever, that should be as wide as it can possibly be. And then you just kind of balance without disrupting those 2 points.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so that you're setting so exposure in a photo. This is just being an idiot, but is there a parallel or like parity when it comes to like contrast in most things, like picture on your monitor, or picture on your TV, or whatever, right? Would that kind of be setting? Okay, so you're setting your contrast level. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
And then obviously a lot of filters, they do mess with color balance, they mess with color temperature, which color temperature is one thing I do know, right? You have warmth and you have cool temperatures. Cool is a bit more on the blue spectrum, warm is more on the orange-red spectrum, right? It just kind of depends how you want to use that. And like where I've personally always fallen into a trap with situations like that is like I feel like you can use color temp to set like a vibe in a photo. Like I'm really into like outrun shit. Like obviously look at the entire aesthetic of our podcast that these guys just let me design on my own with our graphic designer, and here we are. So I always lead towards like the pinks and the blues and like that real dark kind of vibe because I feel like it's got a cool aesthetic. It pops, right? And it like I feel like those photos always hit. But at the same time, when you're shooting a daylight photo, that's a lot harder to execute without like overdoing it. So what's like a good rule of thumb for setting like color in a photo? Because that's something that you can do really easily on a phone.
What I like to do is actually go Steven. Go.
For me, I usually like to do something pretty neutral. I don't like it being super yellow. It really kind of also depends on the subject matter. If I'm shooting a red car, sometimes having a warmer tone is okay because it blends in, almost gives more of a, if you're gonna go like by seasons, like a fall look. It's yellows, it's things like that, different hues. Versus like a darker car, sometimes I'd like to go with the darker kind of colors, the cooler colors, the blues, the purples.
So you're trying to complement the subject with the overall tone of the photo.
Yeah.
So like be mindful of like what it is that you're working with.
Exactly.
Okay. Chris, you were gonna say something.
Well, taking away from this, essentially, each photographer has their own creative way they would edit that photo. So there would be those that would lean more towards like your truer tones, but then like you were saying, you like the retro and outrun vibe. So a lot of photographers like end up leaning more towards that as well. So it just depends on what do you feel is your perfect photo, like in your sense, like what vibes with you the most. That's where the edit would go. Is this what looks cool to you?
So what would you say that like? So like if you're obviously we're appealing towards like a novice photographer, right? Like, you can fall into that trap of like, oh, I think this shit looks sick, and then it's like an actual photographer be like, bro, this shit's garbage, right? It doesn't matter what you're going for, like this is bad.
Right.
This is objectively bad.
100%.
Right? So
Man,
like
go
ahead.
Go for it.
No, go.
I thought I'd have like some good photos. I'm like, oh, this looks really good. And then like, I remember like I pulled up pictures of Chris and Isaac. By the way, shout out to Isaac.
Yeah, glitch. At glitch.
At glitch. And you look at their photos and you're like, bro, this shit is fucking garbage. What I just shot. Like this is literally trash compared to what they.
Oh yeah,
an idiot sandwich.
We are. Talk to you guys' craft and kind of like futuristic stuff. Like I remember when I went out for a photo shoot in Roseville at the parking garage, and I took a couple photos, right? It's posted on Instagram, but Apple has started to develop like photography software, which is a different like beast in its own, right? You can literally click, hey, I want this filter, or you can swipe back and forth to, I'm gonna take this picture, I want this exposure, this kind of continuity, I want all of this stuff for that. And it kind of speaks to what Kid was talking about as far as these guys going out and buying these $2, $3, $4, $5,000 cameras. Well, how far are you away from it being in your pocket? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how far away from the quality of photos that you guys take? No, don't be wrong. Your photos are amazing. Like, Kid, I love you. We underpay the fuck out of you.
Underpay? We don't pay him shit. What the fuck?
You guys
No, but like legitimately, like I can take a photo and like at some point, like my phone is gonna catch up to like the fancy. At least
we're like, I don't think you understand like how fucking close we already are to that point.
Right. No, I agree. Like,
we're already there.
We're there. Like
from what I can tell,
cameras are $5,000. Well, my $1,200 camera phone.
Yeah. So like,
Kid, how many megapixels are your?
Huh?
I think
how many megapixels are your phone?
Like
on my phone or my camera?
I think it's 312 megapixel lenses at this point, right? With 3 different apertures.
I believe so.
I think so.
But then you have all of like Apple's processing shit.
Well, yeah.
It's Apple. I mean, like my fancy camera is 24 megapixels. So the cell phones these days have more megapixels. Doesn't correlate to better pictures, but they're just packing more technology in phones.
That delta is narrowing is really what it is, right? And it's like what. That's a full frame. That's a Canon. Is that what that was?
Nikon.
Okay, so like
yeah.
So when you buy full frame cameras, obviously you buy them without the lens, right? You're just paying for the camera, the body, and the sensor. So like, what did the body on that cost?
This one I bought this one in college. This is about $2,100.
Okay, before you bought a lens.
Everything.
Right. So you're getting to that point of like, dude, Chris is dying inside thinking about this, right? But and then you consider batteries, and you consider memory cards, hard drives, backup hard drives, so you don't corrupt the files during editing and all this other like shit. Whereas I have iCloud, that's 99 cents a month.
Right? Yeah.
But I'm saying is that you're getting to that point where like an average Joe with a decent phone and half a brain when it comes to composition and balancing can get 70%, maybe 80% if he's really skilled to what you can do with. So like that, it's that diminishing return right now. But like, and this is just for this is just for demonstration sake. So it is my car, but I'm not like trying to be that guy. But
Here we go.
this was my favorite photo shoot we've done for very obvious reasons of everything that I've already said.
Yes. 100%.
But as of somebody who
this looks
like,
fake as fuck, by the way.
I feel like this is incredibly hard to edit without blowing shit out, right? Like blowing red out in color balance, blowing the car. The car is black. It's dark. It's like, you know what I mean? Like I feel like there's a lot of things working against you. And I just love the way this photo came out. I was just like, dude, that shit
really
looks tough, right? And the one he took of Calvin's M3, which I'll just bring up because it shits all over the one in my car. Like, come on, dude.
I love that picture of your car, though, bro.
Like, look at this is the beauty of not having a black car, for the record. That's what you get.
In your defense, like your entire photo was like pink, red, that color strand. Here, honestly, if you look at the corner of now,
he's got the pinks and the reds on this side. He's got the yellows on the other side.
Look at the back C pillar. Right, look at that C pillar, and you can
That
see
looks
it looks so sick.
There's a green, there's a yellow,
that's a great photo.
A pink and orange. Like, you know what I mean? Like not like
there's
how
a
you
whole
guys
5
explain
colors.
That was such a fun
like,
night
now,
too, dude.
Like, but like
that
the
was
process
super
of like explaining what you were talking about, like the color contrast and how to like move a photo to where you're like your focal point, right? Like that speaks to that is how you edited that photo, and you look at the color contrast in that little square tiny box versus all the colors around it.
But it's like looking at this now, right? Going off of the conversation we had earlier. Like I've taken photos of, you know what? Let's do this. I'm gonna bring up my Instagram. And we're gonna take a look at photos I've taken
Are we gonna shame you right now?
We're gonna shame me because I'm bad. I'm a bad photographer. I won't.
Hold on. While you're bringing up your Instagram, I learned like a few years ago that the best camera you have now is the best camera you have on you. Like I can have a really nice professional camera, but realistically, like I'm walking around with a cell phone. Like
correct.
All it takes is practice, and you just got to keep shooting every day just to build up that mindset to bring up composition. Your photos will come out. They'll come up over time. You'll start to mess with like how dark you want your photos, how light you want your photos, you know?
I think that's actually a really good point. Dude, Soren, my monkey brain with an iPhone XS over here, for example. Yes, your monkey brain. You listen, we all suck in photography. That's why we keep Chris around. So kind of going back to what you're saying, I remember when Brixton shot your Marrow. So Chris bought some Brixton wheels, which obviously looks fly as fuck. I had like 4 solid episodes of the podcast where I was stroking off fucking over the way his fucking Camaro sits, right?
5 episodes.
Maybe. You know, who's counting though, right? Whatever. And they were like, hey, we want to shoot the car. Because I don't think anybody put Brixtons on a Marrow at that point. I think yours may have been one of the first. And this
why throw this money on a fucking Camaro?
I mean,
like, have a point.
Like, listen, if we're just rolling this back, it's not like you drive a 1LE or a Z01 or a ZL1 1LE. You drive an SS with really nice suspension.
Bucket, baby.
It's really nice. It doesn't even start half the time, right? Like, come on.
Yeah. I'm actually worried when I get home from my vacation if it's actually gonna start.
You're gonna push start. You're gonna push start, and I want Olivia to record it.
It's cold. He's fine.
He needs to know. No, he needs to know. He needs to know. He needs to know about that push start.
Like, we need the answers,
Alex. But no, Chris like goes in the chat and he goes, "This fool shot these photos with a fucking potato." You know what I mean? He was
right,
like,
dude. It fucking hurt my feelings.
Yeah. And it's like it's just like with mechanics, it's like with fabricators, it's like with anything else. Like if your brain understands the way that shit is supposed to work and look and what's gonna make a good shot, you can like bat above your average, right? And I think that's kind of like the point of this whole thing is like not to devalue the stuff that you and Steven do, because obviously there's a lot that goes into it that like that we don't know. And to the point of, we're doing a giveaway for a 30-minute shoot with Chris. Like, which fucking goes, you guys are fucking dumb. Do you understand how much money he charges to take photos? And we're going to give you photos?
A lot. I have paid Chris before. Trust me. The man
It's a lot
is
of money.
golden. It's a lot of money, but
free.
30 minutes with this man is key.
All you got to do is subscribe to some shit that you're already listening to because you wouldn't know about it if you weren't here. Anyway. So it's not to discount that. It's just that, we're all car guys and a lot of us are building our own cars and a lot of our money goes into that. And, sometimes you're fishing for sponsorships to get 10% off of parts, or you're doing this or you're doing that. You're trying to make your name out there. You want people to see the hard work that you put into your car, right? But you want to make your car look good, right? You put money into it. We call them buckets, but like, listen, everybody loves their buckets. You know what I'm saying? Like, make your bucket look as good. Put a fucking fucking bow tie on that turd,
Hell yeah.
Dude, after being in LA for like a little over a week now, or not under a week, a little under a week now, I will say LA buckets like way cooler than NorCal buckets.
Right?
Like everyone's
absolutely.
personalizing their Ripken
Everybody
buckets.
talks a gang of shit about Los Angeles, and I understand why. And it's because 90% of people's interactions with Los Angeles are through television.
Correct.
But Chris has been there, and you will attest to the fact that that's not how people actually live there. That's how like 1% of people live there, and we don't fuck with those people.
Nuh-uh.
We don't hang out with those people. They can't sit with us. Anyway, roast my photo. This is me when I was still living in California, and I was working on the car. I already know it's bad for like 4 different reasons that I've discovered during the course of this podcast. But this was me, I feel, doing too much with perspective when it comes to wide angle lens. I think it's unnecessary. And I want you guys to know that I agonized over this shot for like 15 minutes. I took like 75 photos of this bitch, and this is the best thing that I thought I had. So if
feel any better, like I very much appreciate the Outback in the back. It looks really nice. The way the sun's hitting
that
it.
shit bussin', bro.
Keep it.
That's it.
Keep it.
What do you think I could have done better? What do you think I could have done worse? I feel like I could have cleaned
the angle of that, though. I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
I mean, it
Yeah,
doesn't
I like it.
professional photo, obviously, but like just the angle you took, it fits the car. You show the whole thingamajiggy.
You framed it. The garage door is actually you framed it with like the garage door. You have the leaning line from the garage.
totally on
floor
purpose.
leading
Totally
towards-
on purpose. Calculated.
Bullshit. That is 100% bullshit.
This fool said IE car scene is the best car scene only if you like jalopy ass old lowriders. Anyway, moving on.
Oh no!
Oh, and-
Oh
and
no!
small
no.
dicks and lifted trucks. Moving on.
Oh no!
Show me the lie, bro. Show me the lie. I live down there. I have inside information. This is unfuckwittable right now.
Dude, I saw a Slam Taycan Turbo 4S just like scooting like on
It's
the
fucking LA, baby, and you were in,
No,
you were
it
in
was
Beverly Hills.
sick.
Yeah, you're in Beverly
Yeah,
Hills.
Beverly Hills. Yeah.
All right, let me try to find like a really. You guys are like, I'm trying to prove a point here. Okay, that like there's ways to like. Okay, what about this? I feel like this is not great.
That's horrible.
Thank you. Perfect.
I mean, you took no time. You like walked out
I
from
was
getting
literally. I mean, it was 5 o'clock in the morning. No.
I mean, for starters, so.
Oh.
Well, what? Okay, that's fair. But like, listen, I had to get gas on the way to Vallejo, and it was like.
Okay, but hold on. Go to Steven's fucking profile right now because the video. I'm pretty sure is it Scotty's GTI that is that first photo you have on your Instagram.
That's at a Chevron.
Like, and
There you
it
go.
looks so good compared to
I will
Alex.
say that the lighting at that place is perfect. I was pretty excited when we found that gas station.
It's the 5th photo on Steven's.
Yeah, see, like I don't. Again, I'm bad. That's why I'm here.
so
That's why we're here.
You wanted
Oh,
to
yeah.
get roasted because you posted your
I
shit.
no, I'm
You're getting
fine.
roasted.
I'm okay. I'm not upset. But
You
like, no,
suck.
it's like obviously a lot more of the shot is actually the car
Right.
versus just all the bullshit around the car.
100%.
The lighting also fits the color.
Well,
Like,
I think what I did was stupid because like if I actually and let's take this as a teaching moment, okay? After having this conversation with you guys, I want to see if I'm hitting this proper. I was on the outside pump, right? So you have the awning with the lights, and I'm on the outside pump, and I'm shooting the back of the car, and I'm shooting the back corner, which is the very ends of the lights. If I wanted a rear shot, I should have pulled into the middle pumps.
Yeah.
Right? And shot it from inside there. That way I have consistent light on all sides.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
See, we're learning things, children. This is why we're here. Okay.
So like with this picture here though, like that was with my cell phone. So kind of touching back on what Kid said.
That was with your cell phone? I'm so bad at this. Okay. Go
Right.
on.
Yeah, so that's, that was just with my iPhone. So it's
It doesn't look like an.
I mean, it looks like a
two
great
things
picture.
always got me through like college with the first one was the best camera is the one you have in your hand. I throughout college I always had some form of camera. Like you kind of see behind me, like these are my shelf full of there's like 20 cameras up there. I've used them all. So that's my camera collection I actually used and shot with. The other kind of quote that I always like to go off of was the first 10,000 photographs you ever take are your worst. So from there, it's always a massive learning experience. Continuously shooting and everything. The more you shoot, the more you learn, the better things get. So someone who just grabs a camera and takes 100 pictures, they're probably not going to be that good. But just continuously shooting, continuously honing your craft. And that's like driving. It's like going into a canyon. The first time you go, you're going to continuously doing it. You'll learn every line. You'll learn where to speed up, learn apex, everything like that. The better you get. It kind of correlates with racing a little bit.
I think and it's funny that you say that, and everything is like they say it takes 10,000 hours to get good at anything, right? Like that's like the rule of thumb. But like we've had a lot of conversations on this podcast about seat time in the specific vehicle, and I've put like good money into my STI. It's not super quick. I haven't gone like off the fucking deep end. It's like a 300 horsepower car, so it's like obviously nothing ridiculous, right? But I've never felt as uncomfortable in a performance vehicle I've owned as I have in this specific STI. I've owned a prior VA, but it was completely stock. And I realized something today because now I'm commuting basically an hour back and forth to work. And prior to that, my commute was 10 minutes. Just being in the car for a longer period of time and just getting like that kind of finesse and understanding like the little idiosyncrasy. Like I used to feel like the car felt super unbalanced over little bumps and shit like that. And it was very jerky and all that stuff. And now that I'm driving, like I put 300 miles on this bitch a week at this point, and I'm like, it's not uncomfortable. It's not jerky. Like I know what it's going to do. Right. So like all of that, like, and that was how I was in my 240s, right? I drove them all over LA all the time. Shit, LA traffic, whatever. You learn all the little idiosyncrasies. It's like a relationship. It's like anything else, right? You have your girl and she has like, listen, if I do X, Y, Z, 10 out of 10, we're having a fight. Every single time. You know what I mean? Every single time. Doesn't matter. 5 out of 10 times I can say this and it's okay. 3 out of 10 times I can say this and it's okay. Right? Whatever. Taco Bell fixes everything, whatever the case may be, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you learn all those little things.
Taco Bell fixes nothing, by the way. What are you talking
What?
about?
What?
Taco Bell fixes all.
Taco Bell
Taco
fixes
Bell.
everything.
Taco Bell?
Taco
You
Hell?
get you,
You got those
Yeah, thank you.
cinnamon
Tim.
fries.
Thank you, Tim.
there, see?
Jenna's
There's-
there.
Jenna
Taco Bell
wants-
right now.
Get
see?
them
Okay, I stand corrected. I
Kyle's
stand
got a
corrected.
real one. That's why. Tell Jenna I said she's a real one. Tell her I said it. Tell her I said it.
You're a
Right.
real one.
Jen's a real one. Jen's a real one.
She's listening to the podcast right now. Like,
Yes.
I rest my case.
Oh, we
the
love you,
the
Jenna.
defense rest. The
Hi,
fucking
Jenna.
defense
Jenna.
rest.
they're saying hi.
But
Oh, she's probably gonna see it, Kyle.
so.
She was on her phone, so I was making sure.
But like that kind of goes back to like what you're saying about like just keep fucking taking photos of shit, right? Like just keep taking pictures of
Always.
shit and like I'm not like a selfie guy, and I don't consider selfies to be photography
Mhm.
personally, right? Like whatever. But it's like, oh hey, that thing's cool. Take a picture of it. Try to make it look as cool as you can, right?
Right.
What the fuck was Kyle just doing?
I was taking selfies. With the duck face.
with the
Take-
duck
take
face.
the GTI off the screen so that
Oh, nobody can
Hey,
see him anyway. Yeah,
go-
my bad.
Yeah. Rate my how about you rate my photos?
Let's rate. Wait, who's photos? Wait, who's in? Let's do Mike.
There you go.
Let's do this is a good
away from my desk.
no, this is a good exercise
I'm making
actually.
a drink right now.
This
I
is
like
a
He's
good
not here to
exercise.
thumbs up.
Good idea.
This is a
He's
great
not here to thumbs
exercise.
up.
I'm trying to find a photo that's not one that obviously okay, here's another one. Actually, you know what? This isn't even a bad shot. He took a similar shot to kind of the one that I took of the STI in the garage. Right? But it's again now having these conversations.
But it's a skyline, so it's beautiful.
No, but it's not even that. It's going back to the conversations that we've had today. And I know he didn't do this on purpose, right? But you've got the blank fucking concrete. To Steven's point earlier, there's 4 leaves on the ground, and it does kind of fuck the shot up. If he had swept the garage out prior to the shot, it would look a little bit cleaner. Just a little bit cleaner, right? Because you'd have that pure gray undertone. You got the bullshit in the background that nobody gives a fuck about, and you have the line along the fucking concrete that kind of leads back to the car. So, like, whether he meant to do it or not,
it's a decent compositionally. It's a decent photo composition.
Yeah, right. Like a little bit of a few tweaks here or there, and I think, and it's like, is that like a major takeaway from this whole thing? Because obviously we're getting pretty close to the end here. We're probably about 10, 15 minutes out, but little shit, right? Attention to detail, right? Like all of the main things that I'm seeing are like that foreground position, right? Because it's, you know, a lot of the, I think a lot of us using that grid, you're going to put your car in the middle, right? Like you're going to put your car across those 3 boxes, whether it be a line low or a line high or whatever, you're still kind of like biasing towards that center of the frame. But it's like, okay, so if this is a similar shot and he moves that car down to the bottom 2 intersections, right? And then at the top, you have like your golden hour, sun behind the car, nice trees and all that kinds of shit. Like that's also a compositionally sound shot, right? Like that's going to be like a decent looking shot, right?
Yeah,
or
your framing for sure.
And then, so I guess my question is like an easy, if you're doing the opposite, if you're moving the car towards the top 2 intersections, I feel like you're kind of like, there has to be like, is it like dramatic positioning or something like that to make that even worthwhile? Because you're going to get a lot of ground in that shot, right? So
right.
Is that like the reflection shot, right? Like where the car is reflecting in the water on the ground or some shit like that? Like, is that something you should stray away from in most situations?
No, I think
I like a lot of pictures like that.
You're adding your own creative edge to it, which is awesome.
But like, is there something that you feel like would make sure that shot hits? If you're gonna do that, if you're gonna bias your car towards the top of the frame, like what are some things you should make sure are going on in those bottom 2/3 of the shot?
So, for example, if we're doing that shot, I would imagine it's in my mind, I imagine it's in the city or something, and it's dark, and you have like the lighting would help build this shot, like make it and add that dramatic effect that you would want. You could even do this effect where, I don't know, carry a bucket of water with you, like one of those 5 gallons is dumping on the ground. I mean, that'd be wasting water, but it's a cool photo.
So
and then
this
you
is
add
like,
that whole reflective to it.
So like this was a video that you shot when we went and took that big photo shoot in Vallejo, right? When we went to, which was that fucking spot was sick as fuck.
That was pretty cool.
But like to your point, like this is mostly foreground, right? Like the foreground is just blank fucking asphalt, and then you have the cars in the background, the building in the back. But like, it looks good, right? Like it's kind of like cutting the shit across.
Shot on iPhone.
That was shot on iPhone. That fucking for sure was shot on iPhone.
Shot on iPhone.
Mike, you've got some decent ass shots in here, cousin. Proud of you. It's all right. It's all right. Okay, wait. I feel like this is like a very common car guy shot. It's like, I'm kind of over the car. And like I've taken a million fucking photos like this. And in my opinion, and I'm not roasting Mike because I have like 17 of these on my Instagram, my personal Instagram. I don't feel like it's the most flattering shot for a vehicle.
I was so excited in this photo.
No, I mean, but dude, you just got your STI.
But no, this photo is absolutely horrid.
But I feel like it's very, like, I feel like my knee-jerk thought in this situation is like crouch down and get more on the level with the car, right? But I feel like that doesn't even is that even like the right train of thought, or like how do you unfuck the shot if you're you?
For sure, reposition the car. Maybe a different location. I mean, location could be cool. I mean,
he's like redo the entire shot, move it completely. You're fucking garbage.
Yeah,
you could make it look mean.
A lot less razor wire in the background.
Nah, man, we're selling that fucking aesthetic, bro. You know, we hard boys out here, dog.
I think if that's the spot you want to shoot at, I would say like one step to the right, just to kind of show off the side profile of the car more. Get like a 45-degree angle on the car.
Elongate the shot a little bit.
More angle of that Firebird in the background.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, to Chris's point, like if you were to take that car and you pick it up and you rotate it and you plop it down to where the Firebird's not on that side, and then you have Steven's whole thing about like kick it one shot to the left at that point, right? Because you're looking at it from the other side. Now you have a nice long profile shot. There's no other car in the background. You have what appears to be a white shed and some razor wire, which is like a pretty dry background, so it's not going to draw attention away from the car. But you have the line leading into the car, right? Because you're going to be paralleling, right? So like, it's little shit.
I like it because you could essentially build the whole baby driver persona.
God,
like
that movie's so good for the record.
Yeah,
the movie's a fucking cinematic masterpiece. Fucking masterpiece. And John Bernthal out of nowhere, like
right. Dude,
yeah, Punisher just comes out of nowhere and is like the most interesting. And then isn't John Hamm in that movie?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is. And he ends up being the big bad, which is like, God, fucking guy nails it. I'd fuck him. Anyway. And then you go to. So we did a night shoot this one night, and there's some photos of my car that are cool. But it immediately like made me want to modify certain parts of my car. It was that shot we did on the road when you first got the GTR and all that shit. Remember that one?
Yeah.
And like they got the cool rear shots, and I was like, my wheels are too narrow, and like a diffuser would be dope, and like all this other shit, You
need wide.
I do. It's only 8.5. Gets the job done. But this shot specifically gave me the biggest initial D vibes.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, big time.
Okay, for me, the best part of this photo is you can't see it in this photo, but my daughter is sitting front seat.
You can.
If you point it out. If you point it out.
Yeah. But for me, this was like a father-daughter moment where we get to hang out, talk about cars, check out all the cool cars, and like that's like the first moment like I got to like experience that with her, and like she was excited. Like, and for me, like I like your initial D analogy, like when you like first saw initial D, you were super excited, crazy about cars. Like for me, that was my
also like if you're a Japanese car enthusiast and you've never watched Initial D, at least like the first 3 seasons.
Oh God, you're horrible.
Fucking up so hard.
Just get out.
You have no idea. You have no idea of our understanding of cars. No idea. No idea.
It's
but like that like you're saying, like, and as far as photography, like it draws your attention to.
I feel
like
and correct me if I'm wrong, like compositionally this is pretty close to perfect in terms of you have, first of all, those trees are not that full on that street, so Isaac got dumb lucky taking that shot when he did, because like they're not that close together.
And we were probably doing.
It was 55, 60. No, we were. This was when we did your car. We were moving.
Oh no, we were
because he was in my STI hanging out the side taking the photo of this car.
Yep.
So and that probably did a lot to help. Just the speed kind of blends everything together, but it's like. He cut the background off before you can see that it's just like some suburban street. You have the tree line on the left-hand side. Obviously, the lines of the road are leading in. The fucking street is blurry. The car looks crisp. And it's just like, that's like, I think every fucking car guy on the planet, I don't care what you drive, would love to have a shot like this in their car.
Oh, yeah. I'm still waiting for mine, Chris.
I sent them up, and they're in the thingy.
No, he meant this specific shot. This specific
let's do it, baby. Let's do it.
Like this is a pretty shot. Like this is like a halo. Like if Mike printed this, framed it, and put it on his wall, like
money.
Yeah, it's money, dude. Right, like money. That.
Yeah,
absolutely. And like, I think like probably that's, dude. This Soren really has his 8086 tattoo. Fucking.
That's sick. That's sick. That's sick.
So if you're a drift boy at all, the rule is if you can drift an 8.6, you can drift anything.
He can't even.
They're kind of pieces of shit.
Oh.
That's why are you attacking him? We brought him on the show to be attacked on his birthday. It's fucking rude as fuck.
I'm talking about Timmy.
Oh. What?
Tom.
Let's talk about him. Oh, Tom. Timmy. See, we're just everybody's
Timmy, Tom.
Same difference.
So confused.
I'm so sexually, whatever. But yeah, it's just that's one of those things. It's like everybody, like you're shooting for those like make my shit look way nicer than it is. I'm not talking about the GTR. I'm not gonna make a fucking Ultima joke or anything like that. Like I'm just saying, like
I'm bring it up.
I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna be a good boy today, and I'm gonna fucking leave it alone.
You already brought it up.
I'm gonna leave it alone.
Heart hurts.
I'm gonna leave it alone. It's a really nice Maxima, but
hurts.
Wow.
I went to a Maxima. I'm not even an Ultima. I went to a fucking Maxima.
Luxurious.
Luxurious fuck.
Luxurious as fuck.
I thought we were boys.
We are boys. That's why I'm about to send you $2,000 in parts on good faith. Get the fuck out of there. Also, listen, I want to throw this one out here because this was like, I think this is probably the best photo we've ever had posted as a group. So I'm just going to put this out there that I think maybe this might be.
Honestly though,
hasn't loaded yet.
Photo.
Hasn't loaded yet.
Out of that shoot, I'm not.
I'm a piece of shit. I'm a piece of shit.
No. But this is a great photo because it's just an action. Like we were just like joking around, having a good time, backing cars in and out, and like he just caught you in like that.
Just loaded. Just loaded.
Yeah. Well, he was loaded. I mean,
this was literally Chris yelling at me that I needed to move my car because the shot looked like shit. Those were the exact words that came out of his mouth. And he was like, move, but like I couldn't hear him because he told me to keep the windows up. So,
but it's your IG photo, so
yeah,
it's a good photo.
Yeah,
great photo.
So, just as the last few couple minutes, right? Like I think, we've touched a lot on like color balancing and all that kinds of stuff, contrasting. ISO and white balance kind of play hand in hand, right? I feel like you can use one to kind of work with the other. Those same tips of like make sure the blacks are black, the white is white, while adjusting those two to make it pretty. So we've done a lot in terms of. I've learned a lot tonight, so I want to thank both of you guys for taking the time to hang out and like do this because I had a lot of fun. I hope you guys had a lot of fun too. Chris is here anyway. But fuck him, right? But Steven, on your birthday, I really appreciate it. Because like I feel like I have a way better understanding of how I should be approaching taking a simple photo and easy things to do, just to keep in mind tips and tricks that obviously aren't going to get my photos to look like your guys' overnight. But if you keep at it and stuff, your Instagram, if you're trying to grow a social media following with a car, which, we're a dime a dozen at this point. We're like one of 5 million fucking automotive podcasts out here. So as always, thank you guys so much for listening to this shit. But it takes a lot to make you stand out. And I think that making sure your photos are on point to the best of your ability is one of the really easy ways to do that. Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If you're framing a shot with a person in it, and I'm not talking about you have some thought model in fucking booty shorts sitting on your car, but you're taking like, who you are. You know who you are. You guys know who you are. Fuck you. This isn't hot import. It's 2021. It's not hot import nights. Get the fuck out of here with that shit.
You guys remember Import Tuner?
Oh, yes.
Yes, dude, I do. Also known as Japanese Lowrider Mag, but yeah.
Yeah.
But like a shot like this, I feel like any shot with a human being in it is a bit more complex because now you have multiple subjects, right? Versus like a car is an individual subject. It's large, right? So it takes up a good amount of the frame. So what's like if you had 3 easy tips for framing a shot where you have a car and a person in it and you're trying to make it look good?
I really don't, Mike. If you have that photo of you getting into the GTR,
is it on yours, Mike? I'll try to find it.
It might be. It should be on my IG. It should be on
Alright.
the GTR IG. But no, like and honestly, I talked to Isaac about this, and I'm like, dude, honestly, out of that photo shoot, my favorite photo is like me getting into the GTR, like
This
you
is a
can
great
just
shot.
see, like, dude, like
it's
the
awesome.
excitement
Yeah,
Great shot.
of like, and he's like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
do it on purpose because I catch you in action, and like that's signs of good photography. Like, and I know Chris and Steven both do this. Like that, you just like interact with people, right? And it's the more you interact, you get them to relax. You get them to like talk to people. You get them to even just like move your car. And he's
It's
like,
a
"Hey, move the
fucking
car
great
for me."
shot, Mike. Holy shit.
And legit, like honestly, myself in this GTR in this photo is my favorite photo ever, and it will
Well,
always
it's
be
like
my
you have
favorite
the
photo.
perspective lines of the curb and then like where the asphalt
Correct.
meets the building kind of drawing back all the way back to the vanishing point and shit. And like,
Correct.
so like
And like
for Steve and Chris, like for a shot like this, right? Like, do you kind of like, you put the car where you want it, you set the frame, right? And you just start cracking photos until you get the one that you like. Is that
Mhm.
like,
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah, typically this is a great photo because it's telling a story. It's like, what's he doing? Oh, he's opening up the door. He's probably going inside the car to start it and take off.
Yeah.
Like
Versus something like if he was standing next to the car, he could have just been some bum who found a cool car in the parking lot. This is showing ownership. This is him getting in that side. I think knowing what car it is, it tells a different story that it is right-hand drive, and I think it adds a lot of dimension to the photo, other than just a car in a parking lot or some guy standing next to it.
so is that
So
something
it
that
tells-
you,
it tells the
is
whole
that something you
story.
think of like before you frame the photo, or is that something that makes you, obviously when you're like, for, if you're using your phone, you're probably taking 5 photos. Like if you go and look at these dudes' camera rolls after they do a photo shoot, there's hundreds of photos on there, right?
Like,
And you're just
Yeah.
the first couple days are just combing through them trying to find the right shot because you're just
Right.
I can tell you this day, Isaac probably took 400 pictures of that car, and I think he gave me 17 good
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
that he
because
Yep.
it's like the more you have to work with, right? The more you have to work with, the chances increase of having a good shot. So
Right.
that's probably the one major thing that I think people overlook in the value of like a really good camera is the ability to just batch shoot a fuckload of stuff.
Oh yeah,
Um,
100%. I mean, you can hear it too. Like when you hold the button, and it's and like you just
yeah, it's just
Yeah,
a shot
yeah.
clicking over and
you're
over and over.
just
Yeah, it's
shooting
fucking
photos and photo and photo and photo, and
like,
like
and honestly, like if anybody watching this podcast, and I'm gonna shamelessly plug somebody else's fucking shit because it's like probably the least watched shit in the entire Houdini catalog. Larry Chen's autofocus
So
is
Larry
yeah.
Chen is probably the highest echelon of automotive photography, and watching him like his Pike Geeks runs when he just it's just a machine gun. It's ridiculous.
Photo
is,
god.
he is the goat.
Photo
Yeah,
god.
Larry-
Like his like he's he doesn't spend a lot of time talking about photography in in those clips. But if you just watch like where he puts himself, and I'm even thinking back to episodes that I've watched, and like after talking to you guys and like these like little tips, thinking about how those reflect into like where he puts himself in relation to the background and the sun and everything else, and it's like his brain just is fucking wired to like put himself in the right position, right?
Right.
Like if I sit here and I take 400 photos, like 10 of these are going to be gold. You know what I mean? And there's like the shot, right? Like the unicorn off of Evo corner shot, right?
Oh,
and he was just like,
yeah.
he was like, he looks at this whole spot and he goes, I'm going to go here. And like, how do you even know that? Like, yeah, I understand that you can look across the canyon and see the corner, but it's like to be able to hit, and of course that's like lightning in a bottle, right? Like Ken just so happens to hang it off over the road and almost fucking eat shit, and like all this other stuff came together that you can have no idea. But
Oh, yeah. His
being
24
aware,
hours of
But like being aware enough of how shit works to put yourself in the position to give you the best possible chance of getting the God shot, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Dude's fucking
speaking of
amazing.
God shot. Who knows Pikes Peak,
Mhm.
Silver Evo,
Oh,
going off? How many
Oh.
memes were created off of that photo?
Dude, they named the whole fucking
named
corner
the tournament.
Evo
I know,
corner.
I
Evo
know,
corner,
but
yeah.
because of great photography, to the gentleman sitting here in this podcast, that became.
And also that dude who lived. That dude lived. The fact that
Dude,
that
I
Yeah.
know. Like,
That's a testament to how well built that car is.
yeah,
correct.
whoever
But like,
I don't know the
that
story.
that photo set the internet on fire.
I mean, it
Like,
was amazing. Like the dude walked away with like super minor injuries, right? Like he was
Yeah,
like
right.
bumps and
Tires,
bruises and
too.
scrapes. Yeah, it was the
Pretty sure-
driver and the co-driver, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. And I mean, it's like props to the
They-
fucking fabricator, whoever built that cage, because
Yeah.
like that wasn't. I mean, he was going for it. He was fucking hauling.
Yeah.
This is like he was hauling ass, dude. He was hauling, and he went off,
Yeah.
and he went off high. I mean, that corner is what, like 10,000 feet up or some shit like that. Obviously, he didn't roll
And, like,
10,000 feet down a hill, but
it
like,
wasn't like
yeah.
he just like rolled and
no,
stopped.
he just rolled and rolled and rolled and
rolled
rolled.
and
He
rolled and
flew
rolled.
off.
Like,
Oh,
yeah,
he flew, yeah.
yeah, like he skidded the tires and like didn't catch traction like he thought he was going.
There was
to,
nothing in the
like,
car but the roll cage left, like damn
Yeah.
near by the time that
Yeah.
fucking thing hit the ground.
Yeah, exactly. And that man is lucky. But for a photography standpoint, you need to like point out like certain like cues and points. Again, like the way they took that photo and the way they took that video. I mean, how many millions of people saw that photo because
Yeah.
of what it was?
Yeah.
Because of all of a sudden they caught that perfect angle of that photo and they edited it correctly to where, like you guys were saying, the grids, the graphs,
It's
and
just
all
one of
that
those
stuff,
shots that'll stick
Yeah.
with you forever. Like you go back and you look at
100%.
like
Yeah.
you look at old Le Mans shots of like Le Mans starts, right? And it's like all the drivers lined
100%.
up. Like those
Yeah.
shots will there's like, you know, some of those screen grabs from Bullet and like shit like that. Like those shots, if you're a gearhead, those shots live on forever. Right? Like
Yeah.
Exactly.
So one of the cool things I was I think this was 2014 or 15 or so at Laguna Seca. I was shooting one of the American Le Mans races back when it was ALMS, and I was talking with Patrick Long before the race, who was from the Flying Losers at the time. He said that don't go to the corkscrew. Every single person with a camera here is gonna be at the corkscrew. Don't go there.
Yep.
Go somewhere else. And I said, that's awesome. So I went somewhere else. I just passed the corkscrew right when they're coming down and they're about to hit the next turn.
that's
there. And
turn
he said, shoot right
6, right? Or whatever, that long
Six,
sweeper to the
I
left.
believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, the long sweeper. He said no one's gonna be over there because that's a boring, slow turn. But he said you're the only one to be over there. I shot their cars a few times there, and they put it on the website. It was on the website for like 2 or 3 years, I think, and that was probably my favorite moment right there.
That's awesome.
And I think that
That's awesome.
And I think that that's like a good analogy of like compositionally doing something different. Like everybody wants a photo of their fucking car on the corkscrew because it's a fucking corkscrew.
Right.
And if you hit the corkscrew
Right.
and you do it fast and you don't fucking eat shit, you're sick, right? Because it's
Yeah.
like, if you guys don't know anything about Laguna Seca, which if you've ever played Forza or Gran Turismo or Grid or any fucking racing game, you should. But the lead up to the corkscrew is fast as fuck. It's clip the left, clip the right, hard on the brakes, downshift 2 to 3, and then chuck it in. And then chuck it right? Like, because it's like, it's off camber, it's downhill fucking like 40 degrees or some stupid shit. Like, it's a very aggressive corner. It's a very aggressive section. It's front tire management, brake management, all this other shit. Knowing how fast you are, knowing the distance, because it's 3 very quick, like, yard markers to you're going to go straight into a wall or you're going to go into the corkscrew too fast and you're going to have that time, right? So it's like that hero corner, right? Like, it's one of those, like, it was like whatever the second to last corner was on Top Gear Test Track, right? That's where everybody would fuck up. It's like, how hard can you hit that shit? But to your point, like, everybody's seen that photo a million times. But if you can get the one that's like a little different, you're going to get some shit that like nobody's seen before. So maybe think outside the box a little bit.
Yeah, stand out a little bit.
Yeah. Be creative. So I think is what Chris has said quite a few times here is.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably the biggest thing for everybody to remember is the point of this podcast was to like teach people things to keep in mind so that they can go out and take photos of their car that don't look like everybody else's. Because it's not about taking the gas station shot. It's not about taking the under the single street light shot. It's not about taking that shot. It's about taking your shot, but just know what the fuck you're doing so it looks good and like looks decent. And when you put it on Instagram or you put it on your fucking YouTube, whatever the fuck you do with it, the people want to look at it. I don't know where Mike is, but I'm trying to wrap this episode up so everybody can fucking go on with their night.
If any of you guys, anyone who's listening, ever have any questions on how to work a camera and what kind of effect you want to achieve from it, and give me and Steven a message, and we'll be able to help you guys out.
Hell yeah! Sure. And please, dude, go on our Instagram at Revmatch Podcast. We have a giveaway for a free 30-minute photo shoot, professionally edited photos. Make your guys' buckets look dope. I don't know why Oliver hasn't done it. Probably because Chris already took photos of his car. But
I got mine.
You still got a bucket, homie. Like, you still got a bucket. Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you guys so much for hanging out in the stream. This was our first podcast episode that we streamed and been rocking with quite a few dudes. Thank you to Sora and 2J and everybody else who's been bullshit in the chat. We appreciate you guys. Yep. I apologize that the first 10 minutes-ish of this show didn't get recorded, but it will get put up on Thursday just like every other episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, follow at Steven Stettler, Stettler photography. He takes dope shots and is many sick. Follow at Cupcake. I'm not going to spell it because I already forgot it and I've been drinking. Thank you guys so much. And as always, be safe, be good. We love you very much. And peace out.
Bye.
Peace out.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Peace out.